hanging out at Holladay Distillery here in Weston, Missouri, sipping on a 5 Farms Irish cream on the rocks, enjoying ourselves, watching a little bit of quarterback play, and really enjoying a few players here. Chiefs probably not going to be looking for a quarterback early, but there are some guys that really could affect whether or not the Chiefs are going to have more players available to them at pick 30. Let's go ahead and look at some quarterbacks. First one we want to talk about, Malik Willis, the best guy in this class for my money. And, it's kind of a weird year where maybe there isn't, a clear-cut top shelf guy, but I think for my money, I'm going with Malik Willis. Physical profile, physical athletic ability. There's a lot to like about Malik Willis.
Yeah, he's got a hose too. I mean, you watch him throw the ball, that thing flies off his hand. And at the quarterback position, when you have a class like this, where there is not really a clear-cut, top dog in this class, I think you have to bet on the traits and I think Malik Willis has the best traits amongst this quarterback class. He's got the running ability. I mean, he's got the arm right there. That's an incredible throw.
It's a beautiful rail shot on the run.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot of guys that can do that.
It's just, is he going to land with the team that can hone that ability in? Because, some of his play is sporadic. It is a good way to describe it, I think. His consistency is not always there. His accuracy is not always there. But if you can get him into a system where he can really hone in on those abilities, he's a guy that could make some noise in the NFL.
I don't know if he's the quickest processor. That's one of the questions I kind of have with him. I don't know, if Liberty's offense really did him any favors, but, we talk all the time. One of the things we preach, situation matters. Situation matters more at the quarterback position than any other position. It is crucial. And, if a team goes and invests in Malik Willis and they build a team around him that, can kind of accentuate his strengths and his abilities, I think there's a path to success for him to be a very high-level quarterback. Yeah. And I think that's what you're kind of banking on if you are looking at Malik Willis. He's got some ability with his legs. He actually is a viable asset in the run game. You talked about the arm talent, and I think he put that on display at the Reese's Senior Bowl. He's one of the guys when the weather got bad down there in Mobile, Alabama, as it does every year. There's always a day where there's a little bit of rain. He was the guy that stood out through that. He was the guy that really kind of showed in the elements that he wasn't going to be deterred, and his arm talent really shone. So I think there's some warts to his game. There's some things he's going to have to work out. And I think teams are going to have to accept some of those things. They're going to just have to kind of build a plan around them. The best teams, the teams that have the most success with their quarterbacks, are the ones that invest and go all in with them. Malik Willis, I think if you're going to go all in with him, which you can have the debate. I think there are enough things there. You can utilize them in the run game, utilize them in the RPO game. And really build a simplified, some simplified reads for him as he kind of works through processing the NFL level.
And you look at two teams that have really been able to do that, or the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and the Bills with Josh Allen. Look at two guys that had a very unique skill set coming in, especially with Lamar with his skill set, the way they've been able to use him. And then you talk about like the arm talent, but maybe the slower processing, maybe the inaccuracy issues. Those were things that Josh Allen had coming out. And the thing that with Josh Allen was always guys that are inaccurate don't get more accurate. Well, Josh Allen has. Yeah. And, Josh Allen also played at a smaller school as well, where you could make the argument that Wyoming did not always do him a ton of favors with the way they set their offense up. So if you look at Malik Willis and you look at the talent and the tools that he has, could he be a guy that gets into a scheme, say the Detroit Lions at 3 or 2, wherever they're picking? He's a guy that if they would take him, they have the infrastructure with an older guy there right now that he wouldn't have to play right away. But he is a guy that if you can actually figure out what he does best, he could be a guy that plays really good football for you in the NFL.
He's a worthy swing for a team looking to improve their quarterback position. And I think he's the clear-cut guy in this class. There's also another guy in this class that I kind of like a lot, Sam Howell, quarterback out of North Carolina. He's an interesting guy as well because, he was someone that, if you would ask at the beginning of the year, he might be the top quarterback coming into this class. And I think he kind of had, a disappointing kind of career arc, because you saw some of the flashes when he was playing early on as a true freshman, and you kind of thought maybe he's a guy that's going to ultimately be one of the best quarterback prospects coming out. And I think his career kind of derailed a little bit when it comes from a trajectory perspective. But there's still a lot of really good things to like about his game. There's some areas that he really shined. I really like his deep ball accuracy, and you kind of see it right there. That's a perfectly placed ball to the back pylon, out of play action. And there's some throws like that. You're watching this one here too. Same thing. Oh, that might have even been the same one. Like the ability to throw the ball down the field, some deep ball accuracy, ability to layer balls, to throw us some touch. Those are some of the things that you really like out of a Sam Howell.
And the big question with him was, he lost a ton of talent last year. Daz Newsome, Diami Brown, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, all are in the league now. He lost all of his best skill position guys last year. So the big question for him was, how will he respond? Is he going to carry that offense? And unfortunately for Sam, you didn't really like the answers to the question.
Not all the time.
He didn't have the best year. And he is someone then that you're going to have to rely on his earlier tape to say, can we get this out of him in the NFL? Can we surround him with talent like he had in his sophomore and freshman year to be able to really get the most out of him?
Well, you kind of saw some of his runs just now too. He had some production with his legs too. Like, he's a guy that actually was able to use his legs in the run game and have some success there too. So that's another asset that he kind of has at his disposal. So, he's a guy that, probably you can get some, maybe not manufactured runs. You maybe not doing that entirely, but he's a guy that can extend with his legs. You can put him on a few zone reads here or there too as well, and expect to get a little bit of production. He's kind of a bowling ball. He's got some contact balance for the quarterback position. That's something you really like. And there's some good moments in his tape. And I'll just be honest with you, I don't think North Carolina's offense really did him a ton of favors either. When I was kind of reviewing some of his tape, I don't think some of the reads and some of the play design really helped him develop as a passer. And so, I think there's still some ability there. And a guy that, if you're looking at some of these maybe not, as highly regarded prospects, some of the guys that you're not seeing at the top of the list, I think Sam Howell could ultimately be somebody that, gets better when he gets NFL coaching as he kind of goes through this process.
Right, because North Carolina's offense is definitely predicated on, let's get our athletes in space and let's let them win their one-on-one matchups, and let's get our quarterback to get them the ball. And which is something he did a really good job of, an underrated athlete, as you see right there, a guy catching that, Philly special type play. I think, in the right system, in the right situation, Sam Howell could be a starting quarterback in the NFL, no doubt.
There's a sleeper in this class I like. It's a guy we got to see at the East-West Shrine Bowl, EJ Perry out of Brown. And honestly, I didn't have a ton of work done with him before I got to the East-West Shrine Bowl. There's not a ton out there on him. But when we talked to Eric Galko, the director of the East-West Shrine Bowl, before the event, he kind of said, EJ Perry's a great athlete. Some people think he could, maybe be a positional switch as that good of an athlete. And honestly, you kind of saw some of his abilities at the East-West Shrine Bowl. It stands out. His movement skills are outstanding. He had one of the fastest, top 10 tracked times. When they were doing some of the speed tracking on the field. His movement skills are really good, and he is a good athlete for the position. I believe there's some highlights out there of him even dunking as well. So I really enjoyed watching EJ Perry throughout the process. First day we were there, we're watching some of these team drills, and I saw him fit a corner route. Just a really good, nice up and down football. It's like, oh, okay, who's this guy? And he just continued to build from there. What do you like about EJ Perry?
Well, I think you talked with Malik Willis about worthy swings, and I think where you're going to take EJ Perry is probably on day 3.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he is he is a guy with a lot of raw ability, with a creative coach. Maybe, I don't think he's probably ever a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's a guy that can come in and, let's say he's your holder on special teams, or let's say, he's a guy that can come in as a backup and use his legs, use his athletic ability to kind of either get you out of a game or keep you in a game. Maybe, like I said, probably not someone that you're ever going to have hopes as a starting quarterback. Maybe, you never know. But as a backup quarterback in the NFL with this type of ability, with the ability to just move the ball by any means necessary, that's the type of backup quarterback I want on my team.
Yeah.
Is someone that can come in and make things happen. when something goes wrong. And he has the athletic ability to do that. I think he could have a really long career in the NFL.
When I started the draft process, he was an undrafted free agent guy for me. And then, as I kind of got to watch him through the Shrine Bowl and get to see a little bit more, I think there are draftable traits to this guy. I think he's helped himself tremendously. And he's a pretty well-built guy. And some people thought, again, like he thought it could be a positional switch. He doesn't need to switch positions. I think he can find an opportunity to play at the next level. You're right, probably never going to be a starter, but as a developmental backup, a guy that can create a little bit, has some movement skills, can solve some problems with his legs. I think that makes a lot of sense for a team wanting to develop a quarterback in day 3 of this.
And Chiefs fans know as well as anybody, a solid backup quarterback might be the difference between you winning and losing a playoff game, right? I mean, those guys are valuable to be able to come in and just steady the ship, ride the wave, get you out of a game, keep you in it.
Yeah, and we got to watch him. I think in middle field, you've seen some of these throws that we were watching here. That, there's some really quality middle field throws. One of the things that I really liked, and I saw some improvements from him when we were out, at the East-West Shrine Bowl, is the ability to throw outside the numbers was a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not going to say that this is a guy that has top shelf arm talent. I don't think he's he's one of the best arms in his class, but I think he has more than enough to throw, an NFL route tree, to be able to make all of the throws. It's one of those phrases, those cliches that get thrown out a lot, but it's true. He has the ability to do that. I'm a fan of EJ Perry's. I'm rooting for him after getting to see him, and East-West Shrine Bowl MVP of the game as well. EJ Perry out of Brown, a sleeper to keep an eye on.